Hey, well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Dave coming to you from the middle of the dog yard here in Southern Maryland. It is Sunday afternoon. It's a little after 2, maybe like 2:15 Sunday afternoon. It is 60 degrees out, and there's no need to adjust your set. That brightness, what looks like could be overexposure, is actually sunlight. Um, it doesn't happen very often on my videos anymore, but that is bright sunshine now to come and go because the clouds block it. But holy smokes! The rain is broken. It rained again last night, by the way. Give me a break. And but sun is broken, 60 degrees, light breeze. Good day to get out here. But I wanted to get out here because I don't know what it's gonna be like in 2 or 3 or 4 hours. So that's a good thing about being a bachelor is you run your own day pretty much. So anyway, welcome to Sunday afternoon. Hey, by the way, good dog video coming up. All right, we'll do our dog review. Look at this. Oh, there's Chance. Chance having fun. No, we won't get to see that very often, right, Chance? Sasha can't stand it. She goes, if there's fun, I got to be involved. Look at Chance being playful. Wow. It's like a snow leopard being videoed. This is Echo wondering what happened to the world. And there's Finn wondering what happened to the world. They're not sure. The world as they know it's over. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned in earlier videos that I'm trying to get Sasha trained up so she can ride in the convertible with me. I'd like to take her in the Cobra, and I've got that 65 Mustang that's convertible. I'd like to be able to have her ride in something other than my Expedition. So I've got to train her to the seatbelt leash, but more importantly, I've got to train her to eye protection. So I bought her a nice set of doggles, and I'll show you a picture of her in doggle training. She's not much of a fan of it, but here you go. So I managed to catch the dogs in their favorite position before we walked out here, and that's inside on their favorite piece of furniture. So just take a minute break away and show you that too now. So I don't take too many inside shots, but I see what the inside life of my dogs are. So there's Sasha and Echo enjoying their leather couch. Anyway, just wanted to say it to you. Don't do that very often. She wants to know why she's on camera. She says, Dad, that's something for outdoors. There's Chance. Like he's all being social and happy. Chance being happy, Chance. Oh, here comes the Nib Nib. Hello. All right, quick little insight. The order has been restored to the dog world, so we'll do a last video of the dogs here for this one. And the dog world is back to normal. There you got Finn and Sasha making trouble together. And as far away from that as you can get. I mean, literally on the other side of the dog yard. Look at this. I'm panicking. Literally 180 degrees. There's Chance being Chance. All is right with the world. And even Echo says, oof, I feel better now. Holy smokes, 5 minutes into the video, I haven't even really said anything to you yet. I haven't shown you what I'm smoking, so let's open this guy up. You've seen it a bunch of times, and I've got a bunch of them, so you're going to see it a bunch more. But what we are smoking today is my Perdomo 30th year anniversary. Again, it's in my honorable mention 4 and not my top 10, but it's a nice size stick. I really like it. And as always, we'll do a punch cut with the punch cutter here. Get the blade to stick all the way out. Try to get in the center, right? Some of you guys said I'm pretty good at this center punching stuff. So there you go. Oh, perfect cut. Pretty much in the center. That comes from several years and several hundred instances of getting it wrong, by the way. But there's a really nice punch cut. And now, get the lighter out and get her lit. All right, total success. Great cigar, lit well, perfect weather. Microphone's working. You know, I know because I threw that piece of crap cheap one out. I've got a really nice one now, and it's got a light on it like it's supposed to. It tells me we're hooked up when we're talking, so. Yet again, a reminder, don't buy the cheap shit, buy nice stuff. So as I've told you on the last several videos, my wife Anne Marie has flown to Denver and is spending the week with my son Sean. He turns 24. She want to go see his life, see his house, see his dog Ranger, spend his birthday with him. Just that good quality one-on-one time that really only comes when you're not at home. You see me distracted is because Sasha's tearing around. You catch her in the background here. I had a wonderful hour-long call from them today. They called me today, and I can tell they are having a blast. And what's crazy is my wife has sent me 2 pictures of my kid. I haven't seen Sean since January. He's been on a year and a half long weight loss. Unfortunately, he's using Ozempic, but at 24, I have very little input to these things. But he's lost 110 pounds, has 10 more to go, will have reached his goal, and will begin weaning off the drug. But he looks really good. He looks really healthy. I'll be glad when he's off the drug long term, and hopefully the weight loss and eating changes he's made in his life will stick. But he looks great. He's way healthier right now. Down 110 pounds. 10 from his goal. That's incredible. Way to go, Sean, man. I couldn't be prouder of him. Anyway, the pictures of him look amazing. And even my wife is just stunned by his progress. So anyway, totally useless bit of information, but that's what this channel is about. I don't know how to show you how deep this hole is. Hopefully she'll start playing it again. I think it was Jim saying it looks like she's going to pull a Chinaman out of there. But she'll have to pay tariffs on him if she does. But man, she's got a couple canyons going on. There you go. She's getting down in there. Well, apparently I've become rather famous for saying this, but this is where the nice part of the video ends. There'll be no more tobacco or dogs after the end of this, unless the dogs do something cool. But the rest of this is going to be 2 points on politics. So the rest of this video is going to be political. So if that just isn't your thing, see you next video. Because I have 2 things I want to talk about. I haven't talked about anything too serious on the video for a while. And it's time to go back to work. So anyway, the rest of this video is going to be on 2 points, both political. And that'll be the end of the video. So I'm serious. If it's not your thing, I'm totally good with that. Just go ahead and click off and move on and watch something that will make you happy. Because if you're not into politics, the rest of this video will not make you happy. All right, been warned. This is the buffer. Trying to give you enough time to get off of here, get out of here before I upset you. Because I'm probably going to set the offensive meter is probably going to go off on this one. But let's see. I'll just give it a couple more seconds. All right, coming up on 30 seconds. So this is the buffer. You've been warned. If you stay on, buckle up. All right, so political topic number one is, so let me say it and then I'll talk about it. I don't want to bury the lead on this one. It is my belief that not everyone who is left-leaning or soft or believes in kinder things are all doing it from a sinister perspective. Many times, especially in the right-leaning talks, the right-leaning speeches, the right-leaning press, the right-leaning YouTube's channels, and even some of you guys on here, all Democrats are bad. All left-leaners are bad. They're all sinister. They're all evil. And I believe that most of them aren't, actually. There's plenty of evil left-leaners, don't get me wrong. But I don't believe they're all libtards. And there's plenty of evil right-leaners, too. I mean, there's plenty of evil conservatives. We even have evil conservatives who really are left-leaners but are masquerading as righties. So it kind of runs all over the map. But I want to talk a little bit more about what I mean by just because someone is softer or left-leaning or well-meaning doesn't mean that they're idiots, and it doesn't mean that they're evil. So what the hell do I mean by that? So I believe history is rife with a lot of examples, and current times are too, of people who want to do what they think is right because they think everything should be offered to everybody, and that's what they consider sort of equal treatment. And so things like opening the borders and allowing anybody who wants a better life or claim they want a better life to come into the U.S. for whatever reason, without review, without criteria, they believe is the right thing to do. It's the humanitarian thing to do. The concept of we should let anybody vote no matter what, no ID, almost really no registration, just allow people to vote, comes from a belief that's the well-meaning, the right thing to do. It's the equal thing to do. The fact that we should allow as many people onto welfare and unemployment and universal basic income as possible because it's the right thing to do. People deserve, a quality of life, and that we should just give it to everybody. That we should allow any country to operate any way they want with the U.S. in the way we trade with them. It should just be free and open trade, no matter how the other party behaves, because that's kind of the right thing to do. I just see there's a stream of that belief, and I think part of the reason that's, when I sit and talk with people who are of that belief, they get so angry so quickly, they get offended so quickly, is they feel any argument against that is an argument against humanity, an argument against equality, and an argument against equal treatment, an argument against humane behavior. And any argument against that just means you're kind of a bad person by definition. And I believe they're mistaken, by the way, but I believe they harbor truly in their own heart and soul that these are the right things to do. And that's what I find so scary about them. These are well-meaning, well-intentioned, and probably the majority of the left they truly believe it's the right thing to do, that if we stop shooting criminals, criminals will stop shooting citizens. If we decriminalize criminal acts, criminals will stop acting in criminal ways. Um, if we stop defending the borders of the United States, people will stop trying to invade the United States. I mean, you can go on and on with these sort of examples. And I think they really believe it. I mean, I would call it disillusioned, deluded, maybe not realizing historical facts. I think it feels good to believe that way. It feels good. I'm in defense of all liberties, total equality for all people, no matter how they behave, equal and humane treatment of all people, no matter how they choose to behave, equal treatment of all countries, no matter how they choose to behave. I think that belief system is held deeply inside them, and they truly believe it. So I want to grant them that they're not evil for thinking it. They're not trying to subvert a society. It's just what they believe, and they believe the way the U.S. should go in the Western world, and eventually the whole world should go. That's why I think you see such support for this one world government idea, is that, well, once we're all one country with one people, with one government, a lot of the issues humanity face will dissolve. And I think that's wrong. And I think history has proved it over and over and over, time and time again. But I want to grant them that they're not being evil. I think they're being naive. A great example is World War II, when it got started. We gave Hitler Czechoslovakia and Austria, thinking that if we gave him these two areas, he'd stop marauding the world. I mean, obviously, that was foolish and totally ineffective, but I think it's a perfect example of that kind of thinking and how wrong it's been in history. I also think history has shown us, and the current world is showing us, that there are types of governments that profess to believe in that. And the book we read together was talking about that. Communism and socialism are claiming to be based upon the equality of all mankind, and that everyone should be treated equal. Everyone should be paid the same no matter what they do. They should work the same amount of time no matter what their contribution or what they contribute to society is. We should all live in the same housing no matter what. We should all enjoy exactly the same life, the same quality of life, no matter how we choose to live it. And I think in all cases that has been shown to be a failure. And very few people migrate from our type of society to that type of society. It's almost always the other way, to the point where they make it illegal, and even under penalty of death, to try to depart their system and come to ours. So I just think, if we're honest about this, all should be equal, no matter what. I think we'll find that throughout history, there's not a single example of full and open borders, everybody's equal as pillars in a society, of having it worked at any time in history. And that's where I would go with the argument with someone who's truly left leaning and truly on the all should be open, all should be the same, all should be treated equal, in every sense of the word, in all aspects of life. I would ask the question, rather than making the statement you're an idiot, or you're just masking your evil intent to tear down the United States, I would ask the question, what model of success do you have in your mind when you have this core belief in your heart and your soul? What are you basing it on? What success in the past have you seen? And if the argument is, well, this time it's different, then I mean that's really not much of an argument. And I'm not trying to change minds. I'm just trying to, when we run up against the opposition, I think rather than calling them idiots or evil, is start asking questions. And I think it might not change their beliefs, but I think it will certainly change the way they talk about it. And if they just want to stick to, well, you're evil because you don't agree with me, that's nothing I can do with that. But on this channel and in our community and in the larger YouTube community, I try to provide different perspectives and ideas rather than just yelling, "You're an idiot." Oh yeah, well, F you, you're an idiot too. Orange man good, orange man bad. Biden the best president, Biden the worst president. I mean, I like staying away from that kind of discussion and go more towards, why do you believe that? Here's what I get when I try to learn from history. What do you get, from your side when you review this? I just think it's a healthier way to have the argument or have the discussion. Anyway, I think that's enough of that. I just wanted to, I try to play the counter argument. I try to argue from the other side of the discussion from time to time. Try to bring up different points. Maybe try to poke in your sores sometimes. Anyway, that's all I'm really trying to do is have a different side of the conversation today. Let's go on. Let's get even more offensive. Let's go on to item number 2. Okay, guys, for item number 2, I'm actually going to read a quote to you. A democracy cannot exist as a permanent form of government. Ouch. It can only exist until the voters discover that they can vote themselves largesse from the public treasury. From that moment on, the majority always votes for the candidates promising the most benefits from the public treasury, with the result that a democracy always collapses over loose fiscal policy, always followed by a dictatorship. Ouch. The average age of the world's greatest civilizations has been around 200 years. These nations have progressed through this sequence from bondage to spiritual faith, from spiritual faith to great courage, from courage to liberty, from liberty to abundance, from abundance to selfishness, from selfishness to apathy, from apathy to dependence, from dependence back into bondage. Wow, is that a crazy quote or what? That comes from a guy named Alexander Fraser Tytler. He wrote that in 1800, and he was a Scottish lord. How crazy is that? It can only exist until the voters discover that they can vote themselves largesse from the public treasury. From that moment on, the majority always votes for the candidates promising the most benefits from the public treasury. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? Alexander Fraser Tytler. So I believe as a society we've progressed all the way to the second to last stage. We are, I believe a majority of Americans are now dependent on the government. I also realize that the majority of voters realize they can vote for their own pay increase now, and that they can get it from the government. And worse, that most people have no stake in this game anymore. So they can vote increases in their own pay, their own subsistence payment from the government, and have no involvement in the recourse. And so I believe if we don't arrest this, I'm not entirely sure the Trump administration is going to arrest it. I believe we are eventually headed for bondage again, or a dictatorship again. We got close last time. I believe the current administration is putting a pause on that, but I don't know if they're going to turn it around or not. But anyway, I believe the founding fathers of this nation firmly believed in that statement. And so they required that you had stake in the game to vote for your government. And we have completely abolished that in the United States today. I believe most voters have progressed to the point where they're so dependent on the government, they'll vote. If somebody says, well, I'm going to double Social Security payments, people are going to vote for that, even though the recourse is a huge increase in property tax or tax on businesses, because they own no property and they own no business. So they're like, shit, I don't care. I want my Social Security payment to go way up. I want my disability pay to go way up. I want my universal basic income to be offered to everybody. And I'd like to see that increased more and more. Because when that's your only source of pay, you don't really have a stake in the larger game. I know that's an offensive statement, but I believe the founding fathers are very clear about that and founded this country on that, and we've moved away from that. I don't really have a solution for it, but I just believe, as I've read more and more about the startup of our country and the beliefs that they are based upon and the concepts upon which they are based upon, I thought that was one. Here comes a FedEx truck. I don't know if you can hear Chance defending his territory or not. Anyway, I just think that's why property ownership, business ownership was, such a primary discussion point at the beginning of the country. Because that's how people demonstrate that stake in the game. I'm talking my own book here. I get it. Am I talking my own history? I own lots of property, and I started my own business. That's where my current situation came from. And about 90% of the income of my company came from serving the federal government. So I'm aware of that irony as well. Well, Chance has done it again. His record remains intact. FedEx guy flees in terror. Anyway, I know I'm stepping on toes here and probably ringing some offensive meters here, but I just want to state that I believe most of the voters of the United States have fallen into that trap of that Tytler wrote about in about 1800, and that is, we can vote ourselves pay raises with absolutely almost no impact now because we don't have a stake in that game. So anyway, so all left-leaners aren't bad, and we now have a voting populace that has no stake in the game. So there's two offensive statements in a row. I can hear Potter Piper right now kind of going, really, Dave, you picked Palm Sunday for that beautiful message, that message of love and acceptance? So I apologize for making this video on Palm Sunday, but that's what was came to mind. Well, love to see your comments and hear your questions and your thoughts on all this. And I think that's enough for this for one offensive video. So guys, we'll wrap it up. Hope you had a great week. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm gonna go see what the results of the F1 race were. Hope you got a good week planned out in front of you. And gosh, that's it, you guys. So I ask God bless you. God bless your lives and those of the lives around you. May He turn His ear to hear your prayers. May He make His face shine upon you, and may He bless your life as well as He continues to bless mine. Talk to you later, everybody. Bye now.